everyone, and thank you for being connected here today. I'm super excited with today's conversation as I'm sitting here with Dr. Laurel. Laurel, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thanks, Miguel, for having me today. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am. For those who are not familiar with the work you're doing, let them know about yourself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Laurel. My last name is Mines, and I'm a physical therapist and a sports mindset coach. So I not only help athletes reach their full potential physically, but also mentally. And I help athletes as young as 10 years old, both on their physical and mental performance. And I coach athletes from competitive high school athletes to college to professional athletes. And then I also do ultra athletes. And then I call them recreational or the forever athlete, the athlete that's going to be an athlete forever and prolong the time that they're an athlete in life. So I do coach some older folks as well.
You talk about the sports or the individual who's in sports and their mindset, right? Many of these individuals have to have somewhat of a selective memory or a momentary amnesia, right? They shoot the shot, they don't miss it. They swing the club and they miss or whatnot, and then they're continuing to move on. How can we utilize this type of momentary amnesia, if you will?
Yeah, so there's so much we can take from the world of sports and sports mindset into our lives, in our everyday life, in our relationships, in our work, in our professions, in our business. And, I do have some people that actually reach out to me and want some coaching from this sports mindset perspective in their own lives, in their relationships, in their businesses. Yeah. So as far like you talk about the amnesia, and the coaching's gonna start way before that. We can't really start in the middle of it. So I'm gonna back up just a little bit. And, in sports, there's this champion mindset. You really have to start with a champion mindset. Champions don't go onto the court, onto the field saying, oh, I'm going to get second or third. All champions start out with, I'm here to win the championship. I'm here to win. I'm here to win first place. So when we look at that in our own lives, where are you committed to winning in your life? Where are you committed to winning in your relationships, in your work, in your profession, in your businesses? And when you step out into that relationship or into your business or whatever the field or the court is, bring your champion mindset. You have one life, and step out on the court in your life as a champion here to win. We don't always win. And that's okay. Like champions say, I'm going to win. And then if they get second place, they're still happy. But it all starts with that champion mindset, stepping out on the court as I'm here to play all out and I'm here to win. And that's what actually starts the champion mindset.
So we talk about having the champion mindset and being committed. Is there a difference between dedication and motivation? And if there is, can you talk a little bit about what that difference might be?
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's been medical research out there around people's health and wellness that let me just give them more motivation and see if that's going to really make a difference in their health and wellness. And they've given motivational pamphlets, videos, all this motivation, and it hasn't made a difference in people's health and wellness in the medical research. So just talking about, more motivation and motivating people, that's really not the ticket to success. And when you say dedication, I'm going to also add the word commitment. Mm-hmm. When you find out what you're committed to, and when you're committed, like I said, to be a champion in your life, in this relationship or in this job or this career or this business, when you're committed to winning in this area of life, then you can actually take action around your commitment. And then you don't really need motivation because you're already committed and you're taking action around the commitment. And that is some of the coaching that I give people, whether it's in sports or in life. Like, what are you committed to, number one, and what action are you going to take around that commitment? Therefore, you don't need motivation. You don't need more motivation because it's already in there in the commitment and the dedication.
We talk about having that champion's mindset, being committed, and just like athletes, I think everyday people feel imposter syndrome. What is one way that we can overcome this imposter syndrome when trying to accomplish our goals?
Yeah, so that's an interesting concept. It's so widespread out there that there's this imposter syndrome. And there's definitely a few ways to look at it, but I would say the most powerful way to look at it is that we are actually creators of our life. Mm-hmm. So we get to create who we are. And when we're committed again to creating who we are, then we can take action around that commitment. So when you you can create like, hey, I'm going to be a champion. I'm creating that. I'm saying that. I'm coming up with that. And it's separate from your past. Like, okay, I haven't won anything in the past. I haven't played this sport that long. I haven't been doing this, but hey, like, I want to be a champion. I'm creating that. Then what action I'm going to take around being a champion is I'm actually going to go out and go train. And I got to start somewhere, and it's not going to be pretty, and I'm going to mess up, and it's part of the process. And I'm going to use some coaches and some help and support along the way. And this is in sports or in life, whatever you want to apply it to. So I'm going to do training, but also athletes don't just train. They get out on the field and they play the game, whether they win or lose. And then when they lose, they look at, okay, what's missing? What do I need to train to go out and still be committed and take action around being a champion? So, this imposter syndrome, it actually doesn't really exist in reality. It just really exists, within us that, hey, we're creating that we're an imposter. Like, we want to be this, but we don't believe that we can be this. And just taking a step out and dealing with reality, like, hey, you can create who you want to be, and then you can take action around the commitment of who you want to be. And there is training involved. And there is getting out in the court, and there is failing and losing involved. But over time, you continue to be committed and take action around who you want to be, and you're creating it every day. And then one day you wake up and you actually came to that goal of, hey, I wanted to be a champion, and now I'm a champion.
At the start of the new year, there's so much optimism. And individuals either set New Year's resolutions, they set their goals, or they establish one word. In this spectrum of one word or New Year's resolution, where do you tend to lean more on?
Do you mean from either carrying a word with you throughout the year or a goal with you throughout the year?
Right. So individuals either set one word, which anchors the whole thing that they're going to do for the entire year, or they'll set New Year's resolution. Do you find yourself doing one over the other, or finding a combination, or neither?
I would actually lean towards having a New Year's resolution or a New Year's goal, but not leaving it at the new year. You got to take it with you. And how are you going to take it with you? You have to continue to recreate that goal over and over and keep it alive. Like, you're responsible for keeping that alive. So, like, going with our champion theme, like, you could take the word champion. Like, I'm going to be a champion this year. That's also a goal. Like, and what does that look like? Like for me, like my goal this year is to make $1 million in my business. So I take that every day with me, and I recreate that every day. So I didn't leave that back in January. I take it with me every day. And how I take it with me is I write it down. I repeat it to myself. I share it with other people. And by that recreation of this goal or this word or whatever you're creating for yourself, I would just say recreate it every day. Take it with you. Don't leave it back there. Just keep creating it. And we don't always have to know how it's going to happen. When we recreate it, things show up in our lives. People show up in our lives to help us along the way. And yeah, so we just recreate the goal and like receive what the world, how the world starts to form around the goal that we take with us.
If indeed there was one word that would encompass your entire life work, what would that one word be?
I'm going to have to go with champion. You know, my logo here is the Bay Laurel wreath, and it's the wreath of the champion in Roman and Greek games. And so, yeah, it just symbolizes, you know, champions. And so I just take that in my life. Like, how can I be a champion in my life? How can I be a champion, you know, in my business? How can I help other people be a champion? And then I'll take one step back. Like, you know, what's really awesome about sports is no matter whether it's an individual sport or a team sport, you're still working with a team. So with individual sports, you're training with a team. Sometimes you have scores that are combined for a team score. So even though you're an individual athlete, a lot of times there's a team component of it. And then you also have the team sports. So taking the energy of a team is so much more powerful than just your individual energy for life. So what I like to do is create a team around me. I get to choose the people. I get to help them, motivate them to become a champion, and creating this team of champions around me. And this champion mindset is, how can I win a championship? How can you win the championship? How can we both win the championship together? So that champion mindset is what I take with me. And I take with me, not just with me, but to share it with others. And how can we all be champions and help each other be champions together, as if we're on the same team, working for the same championship in life?
Awesome. Laurel, for those who are connected with us and want to get connected with you, how would they be able to do so?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's Dr. Laurel PT. And you can also find me on YouTube. That is it's Dr. Laurel PT. I'll go back to the Instagram. It's Dr. Laurel PT. Yeah, it's not the word doctor spelled out, just to clarify that. And then you can also find me on my website. I'll give you the short link. It's bit.ly/B, and then athlete in lowercase letters, ATHLETE.
Awesome. And of course, they can find that all details in the show notes. Dr. Laurel, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you, Miguel, for having me today. It was great. And I just, recommend everyone else out there, like, just what does your champion life look like?